The security cameras caught everything, but no one in the building expected what happened next. The billionaire slammed his fist onto the polished mahogany table and shouted, "You're fired," and the single dad standing before him didn't flinch. Not because he wasn't scared, but because fear had been his companion for far too long. What stunned everyone was the billionaire's next sentence, the one that shattered the room like glass and changed both of their lives forever. Ethan Park had learned to survive storms. Not metaphorical ones, real storms. The kind that shook cheap apartment walls and rattled the window frames where he and his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, lived. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years earlier, life had been a balancing act, half exhaustion, half determination. Days began before sunrise and ended long after Lily fell asleep. He made breakfast, packed school lunches, rushed to catch the first bus, worked back-to-back shifts as an assistant at the prestigious Sterling Group headquarters, then hurried home in time to read Lily a story. He didn't always sleep, but he always showed up. And that's exactly why he couldn't understand how things went so wrong. That morning had started like any other. Lily groggily wrapped her arms around his neck as he tied her shoes, whispering, "Good luck at work today, Daddy. I know you'll do great." His heart had tightened because he wished, just once, the world would be gentle enough to let him believe that too. When he arrived at Sterling Group, he was summoned almost immediately to the top floor. People didn't get called there unless something serious was happening. Ethan swallowed hard as he stepped into the sleek elevator, his reflection staring back at him from mirrored walls, tired eyes, wrinkled shirt, hands trembling slightly. The ride felt longer than it should have. At the top was Adrian Sterling himself, the billionaire CEO, a man everyone whispered about but few had ever spoken to. People claimed he had no heart, that he crushed competitors, fired employees without blinking, and rebuilt empires before breakfast. Ethan had seen him only once, striding through the lobby with the confidence of someone who owned the ground he walked on. But now Adrian Sterling was waiting for him, jaw tight, eyes unreadable. "Mr. Park," Adrian said, motioning him forward. Ethan stepped closer, pulse pounding. On the conference table lay a stack of papers, reports, spreadsheets, printed emails. One of them showed a mistake Ethan instantly recognized, though the memory of making it was blurry. He stared at the screen capture, a decimal point in the wrong place on an internal report. A tiny error with big consequences. "Do you have anything to say for yourself?" the billionaire asked. Ethan swallowed. "Sir, I can explain. My daughter was sick that night, and I thought I double-checked the report." You didn't," Adrian cut in sharply. "Because of this, the company almost made a decision that could have cost millions." Ethan's stomach dropped. He felt dizzy. "I'm sorry. I'll fix it. I'll work overtime. You're fired." The words hit Ethan like a punch. Fired meant no paycheck. Fired meant no rent. Fired meant Lily would notice, and he never wanted her to feel the world's coldness. His vision blurred, but he stood still. He wasn't going to beg, no matter how much fear clawed at him. "Understood," he said quietly. "I'll clear my desk." But then, just as he turned to leave, Adrian Sterling said the words that froze him mid-step. "Sit down, Mr. Park." That was a test. Ethan turned back slowly, shock battling confusion. "A test?" Adrian gestured to the chair. "Sit." Ethan sat because his legs didn't seem to work anymore. "You made a mistake," Adrian said, "and I wanted to see your reaction. When confronted, most people in your position lie, or shift blame, or panic and start making promises they can't keep. You didn't. You accepted responsibility, even while knowing the consequences." Ethan stared at him. I don't understand why you'd test me." Adrian leaned back, studying him. "People talk in this company, Mr. Park. I know more about my employees than they think. I know you've been raising your daughter alone. I know you've been taking extra shifts that weren't yours. I know you quietly covered for coworkers without saying a word about it. And I know you worked all night on this report even though your daughter had a fever. Ethan didn't know what to say. No one ever noticed his efforts. No one ever cared to look past the surface. You passed the test, Adrian continued. And now I need someone with your character. 4. What exactly? Adrian took a deep breath, and the billionaire facade slipped for a moment, revealing something strangely human underneath. My son, he said quietly. He's 10, smart kid, kind, but he doesn't think I see him. And honestly, I haven't been around as much as I should. His mother and I divorced years ago, and I failed to show up in ways that mattered. Something in Adrian's voice cracked ever so slightly. I need someone I can trust, he finished. Not just professionally, personally. Ethan blinked. You want me to help with your son? In a way, Adrian said. You'll still work here, but your role will change. I want you to assist me directly, not just with company matters, but with projects involved in my son's foundation. He's passionate about helping kids from single-parent households, ironically. I want to build something meaningful with him. And I need someone who understands what those kids go through. Ethan's heart thudded hard. He didn't know what he expected, but it wasn't this. The idea of working closely with a billionaire was overwhelming enough, but the idea of helping his son, of building something that could help families like his, felt unreal. Why me? He asked softly. Adrian looked him dead in the eyes. Because you remind me of who I wish I'd been. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The room felt warmer somehow. Then Adrian added, the salary will be significantly higher. Enough to give your daughter the stability she deserves. Ethan inhaled shakily. He could almost hear Lily's laughter. See her drawings taped on their refrigerator. Feel the hope swelling inside him. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Adrian said simply. And Ethan did. The weeks that followed were nothing short of transformative. Ethan worked directly with Adrian, helping organize meetings, drafting plans for the new foundation, and, more importantly, slowly witnessing the billionaire change. Adrian started leaving work earlier once a week to attend his son Caleb's soccer games. He began asking Ethan for advice on parenthood, awkward at first but earnest. One afternoon, Ethan and Caleb waited for Adrian outside the field. Caleb kicked a ball around, glancing toward the parking lot every few seconds. Do you think he'll actually come this time? The boy asked, trying to sound casual but failing. Ethan crouched beside him. I think he's trying really hard, he said. And trying is where things start. Caleb nodded. I hope so. I like it when he's there. Even if he doesn't say much. Ethan understood that deeply. Sometimes presence meant everything. Minutes later, Adrian's car pulled in. He hurried out, suit jacket flying behind him, and Caleb's face lit up. Ethan smiled quietly to himself. That moment, small but powerful, felt like watching two hearts learn how to reach each other again. But challenges still came. Some board members disapproved of Ethan's sudden promotion. Rumors spread. Whispered comments floated through hallways. One executive confronted Adrian outright, warning that putting an inexperienced assistant so close to company leadership was reckless. Ethan worried he'd pushed his luck too far. But Adrian stood firm. I chose him, he said during a meeting, voice cool but fierce. And I don't regret it. Another challenge came when Lily caught a severe flu and Ethan missed 3 days of work. He expected to be reprimanded, maybe even demoted. But instead, Adrian sent a private doctor to check on Lily and delivered groceries to Ethan's apartment himself. When Ethan opened the door, shocked to see his billionaire boss holding a bag of soup and medicine, Adrian simply shrugged. Kids come first, he said. You taught me that. Ethan never forgot it. As the months passed, the foundation grew rapidly. They launched programs for tutoring, job assistance, counseling services, and weekend events for kids like Lily and Caleb. The two children became friends. And maybe, though neither man said it out loud, Ethan and Adrian did too. One evening after a successful fundraiser, Ethan found himself standing beside Adrian on the rooftop garden outside the executive lounge. City lights shimmered below like scattered stars. "You know," Adrian began, hands in his pockets, "I meant what I said that day. You really did change everything." Ethan shook his head. "You changed yourself. I just reminded you why it mattered." Adrian exhaled, eyes distant. "I spent years chasing money, power, success, and the whole time, my son needed a father more than the world needed another billionaire." He looked at Ethan. "I didn't see that until I saw you fighting every day for your daughter." Ethan smiled softly. "You're doing better now. Caleb sees it." Adrian turned slightly. "Do you ever think your wife would be proud of you?" The question hit deep. Ethan swallowed hard. "I hope so. Some days I feel like I'm doing okay. Other days, I'm just trying not to fail Lily." "You're not failing her," Adrian said quietly. "You're showing her what strength looks like." Silence settled between them, comfortable, meaningful. Months later, at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Sterling Family Foundation Center, Ethan stood on stage beside Adrian and their children. Lily held his hand tightly, eyes wide with excitement. Caleb nudged his father and whispered something that made Adrian laugh. Really laugh, for the first time in a long time. When Adrian stepped up to the microphone, he addressed the crowd, but his eyes were on Ethan. "This project exists because of someone who reminded me what truly matters," he said. "Someone who showed me that character is more valuable than wealth, and that resilience can change lives. Not just your own, but the lives of everyone around you." His voice softened. "This foundation is dedicated to families who fight quietly, love fiercely, and never stop trying, just like Ethan Park." Ethan felt his eyes blur, but he didn't look away. And just like that, the man who once shouted, "You're fired," now stood before everyone, honoring the single dad who thought he'd lost everything, only to gain something far greater. Later, as the crowd dispersed and kids ran laughing through the new center, Lily tugged on Ethan's sleeve. "Daddy, are you happy?" He looked around, at the building built from hope, at the man who had become more than a boss, at the children who now had a place to feel safe, and at his daughter's bright, trusting eyes. "Yeah, sweetheart," he said softly. "I really am. Because sometimes life tests you in the most unexpected ways. And sometimes, the words that break you are the ones that lead you to something bigger. Something better. Something worth fighting for."